she's putting that together, because
We're going to call this meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the Danville Redevelopment Commission regular meeting, February 13th, 2020. We do have a quorum with 3 voting members present. Mr. Aiken, Mr. Vornholt, Mr. Comer, present in attendance. Did either of you gentlemen have an opportunity to review the minutes that were circulated?
They were reported online, yes.
Anybody willing to make a motion?
Not make a
Second.
To approve as submitted? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Minutes are approved. Being our first meeting of the year, January, there was no meeting due to lack of a quorum, so we are going to establish and elect officers of the redevelopment commission. I think we need what do we need? We need a president, a vice president, and a secretary. Are there any nominations?
Nominate you to stay on as president.
Second.
Any other nominations?
Train just rolled right on through.
I swear we didn't.
Nomination for Ben Comer to chair. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? I'm back on board. Okay. We have a nomination for a vice chair.
Nominate Jerry Vornholt.
That motion. Any other motions? A motion for Jerry Von Holt to be vice chairperson. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. We need a nomination for a secretary of the commission. Are there any nominations? Draken, are you so willing, or?
I am for other groups, so I might as well.
Perfect.
Nominate Gary Aiken for secretary.
Second that motion. Are there any other motions? We have a motion for Gary Aiken to be elected secretary of the redevelopment commission. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We have our officers. Hi, Kelly.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Old business, we have none on the agenda. New business, we have none pending before us for consideration this month, but we do have some items for discussion. The first being a follow-up item regarding our discussion about a public parking lot on the north side of US 36, north of the Christian Church building being the Hometown Insurance. Jerry, do you have a report?
Yeah, I called and spoke with Brian Hoskins with the owner of that, and wanted to try and set up a meeting with Ben and I like we did with the Danville Christian Church. He's a busy guy. He said he'd like to talk about it over the phone before setting up a meeting. So what I did was I sent him a preliminary map for us and called him and talked. He said he liked how it looked and that it didn't take yard, but basically asking for favors to do so that we certainly don't have the ability to grant. So
There were strings attached.
there were strings attached that we have no.
So, all right.
And it was predicated on those strings.
Yeah,
There
so-
was no further discussion.
Very
I've
good.
not got back to him definitively on that. I told him we would be having a meeting today.
Well, it's a good segue into the general idea and concept of this project being the Christian Church's main parking lot in the corner of, help me out, in the corner of
Cross.
Clinton
Cross.
and Cross, in the southwest corner of that intersection. And I think we've got some quote material back in our packets regarding that parking lot. And of course, when Banning was in to speak with us, it also included the concept of the alleyway running north from there, between the old Danner's lot and the Christian Church building, to tie in and incorporate an access way back to this semi-public parking lot. Of course, on the map that's in our packet, the green area on the north of the parking lot is the hometown insurance lot that area was just referring to. So while it would have been nice to add some parking spots in the rear yard of hometown insurance, it's certainly not necessary or a deal killer for us and what we are trying to accomplish. Portion as it may be, we will push forward, move on with those willing to participate in the project. So also in our packets is a related diagram. And this is a diagram of or a sketch of the Danner's build-out.
Didn't have that.
No?
Oh, never mind, I got it.
And so we take these together that and connect at a certain point, and we can start to visualize what this might look like. It looks like that this proposed design has 28 on-site parking spaces. Lisa, does that meet the ordinance, or are they going to have to get a variance?
I honestly,
Okay,
I was gonna look at the parking section to see what a 6,000 square foot
okay,
professional office, and
Yeah.
I did not get a chance to do
Okay.
that, but I can
Well,
let you know.
it's more than any other retailer on the north side of the square.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
We know
Yeah.
that.
My guess is it's gonna be, 300, one space per,
Okay,
so,
okay. So, this, I think that, go ahead, Jerry.
I was just gonna say, this is moving forward, you've been working with them, this is
well,
all.
this is very, very preliminary. I did, was able to get a hold of it. It's
Okay.
very
Okay.
preliminary change, you know.
Yep,
At least it gives you an
absolutely.
idea of what it's
Yep,
like.
absolutely. And so the third piece of information pertaining to this agenda item would be towards the back of our packet, and it's a cost estimate from Gardner Asphalt Services. And it appears to me that this is related specifically and exclusively to the parking lot itself and not anything moving up the alley or having anything to do with the retaining wall that's on
Right.
the east
That's
side of
correct.
the Christian Church property.
We got a quote for the.
Okay.
recall. Yes, that would be in addition to, but
Okay.
this does show improving that alley.
Okay.
Up to the-
Okay.
I don't know if it's relevant or not, but the two yellow spaces, is that single floor, single story?
But we are asking second story facade so that it matches the.
Okay. And so, the members of the commission, just for discussion purposes, and we will be having more discussion about this moving forward, before I put together a bullet point letter of intent to go to the Christian Church. For these figures, let's just say for discussion purposes that it is $45,000 between the actual parking lot, the alley, fixing the retaining wall in exchange for getting a easement. Is that even something that we're willing to entertain at that?
I mean, if put it in kind of perspective, when the town did the lots on the south side, I'm gonna guess or maybe ask, but that cost I'm sure exceeded, Gary, $45,000 bases on
Yeah,
half a mile.
it,
I mean, if
there's
you're
two
in
lots there.
comparison, I don't think it's close to gonna be. It was a bunch.
I don't either.
Drawing, but there was
There's quite a few.
6, something like that. It seemed like a lot.
You're looking to take that cost out of the TIF budget, or?
If the TIF is going to generate enough funds for us, and
In 2020, I don't know.
if not, then we would have. I believe that the RDC has a earmark of funds in the edit. Could be wrong about that, but I think we have a line item.
Says, I
50,000?
should have a copy. Jenny gave me. So that's what she said is in. And it does say edit.
I'm seeing a balance. Legal fees.
So we do have a line item in
Correct.
there. There is potentially the funds project if we wanted to.
Yes. So as far as adding parking, it's not gonna be a less expensive way to do that. Now,
Yep.
whether we want to use that now that we have a user coming in, so the beginning discussion incentivizing, with recognizing the need for parking in general anyway. So they're coming in, they're so fairly add parking. But I do think it's wise to send items on here to talk about.
I'm not pushing for a decision tonight. That seed and consider it, and we will more formal action at some point in the future. The new owner of the Danner's lot broached this subject with you. It's about offset.
I'm thinking.
Okay, can you agree?
I agree.
All right, very good. We'll consider that item discussed. And B, I bring to you a new item, which is item for discussion C, which is the vacant lot on the Dairy Queen block that's immediately east of what is referred to as the Top Logan Garage. And the Dairy Queen Garage and the there used to be a house there, and there's no house there anymore. It's a vacant lot, and the owner of that vacant lot expressed to me an interest in simply deeding that lot over to the redevelopment
Really?
to have.
Okay.
There's not enough space there, just in and of itself with that lot to do anything with it
Right.
on its own. He doesn't want to sit on it for the length of time it's going to take. Going to need to be an integral part of whatever happens there on that block, and first, just give it to us, do as we wish into project area.
What does that mean, give it to the owner?
Well, we may want to get an independent counsel, Bryce Miller, to weigh in on this, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they're going to sign, if we agree, signing a deed.
The RDC.
Landowner would sign a deed over to the redevelopment commission, who would be the record owner.
Another thing to ask about that. All the some things in Plainfield, and I don't know if it was necessary, but when the RDC started owning property, they shortly thereafter created the CDC, Development Corp. And I'd just like to know if they did that because there was a need to CDC manages those properties that they took. That something, just curious.
I think that's something we'd have to look at. Building corporations and things like that. Sounds right to me. Keeps you guys out of the,
That was one of the main reasons they did it. Whether they were required to, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It's one of,
Yeah.
obviously,
And it also helps clarify bookkeeping for the clerk
Right,
treasurer.
they're different roles.
we can find those.
You will?
Yes, sir.
Would, when you email or be in touch with ICE, Lisa Lee, advice would she have as far as due diligence or checklist items? You know, business I'm in, I'm familiar. Search to make sure it's free and clear. Any liens? Be at a minimum? But are there any other things that she suggests we do, or it's legally required for us to do?
Sure.
I don't know. Mental study.
Especially with that property.
Yes.
Don't know what they would suggest we do before
Right.
we would accept a deed.
I think the monitoring wells on the public. So there's probably okay. Right there. Still think it's a good opportunity if we have. You know, if it was filled, knowing the owner, probably diligence, we need.
Done to the best of,
Right. We need to know.
We've used them too.
Okay.
good. So, yes, if we could get, Ms. Lee is welcome to copy me, reach out to me directly. Feel free to copy me. Get a direction. Okay. Move on.
Make sure the owner knows we're appreciative of that opportunity.
Moving on then to the next item, the RDC key dates and annual requirements. Material from Baker Tilly. Key points. Satisfied our election of officers at our first meeting, and our next bullet point coming due April 1st. And so my question to the staff is, this really being our first year of expenses and TIF, et cetera, who is going to be the point person to handle it?
No,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, and it may be Baker Tilly will handle all this
Right.
for us.
Yeah,
Be ideal.
right. We can talk clerk treasurer. See what her
It's
take is on it as well.
Probably just an operational expense for
Yes,
us.
sir. Yeah.
We're, the members of the commission are not capable of items.
I used to say I don't work on vehicles and I didn't expect mechanics to put out fires.
There you go.
Right.
Well said. So, we do have 6 weeks before the annual report is due, so if we can
Their meeting before.
get some answers on. Would.
Clerk
Okay.
treasurer to see what
Could be a combination.
A combination. I suppose being a new year, maybe it's a good time to just briefly review the services we have received from our financial group, Baker Tilly, and our legal group, Ice Miller. Anybody have any comments, thoughts, any reason for
Use Veritas,
discussion?
Veritas for
Veritas.
anything,
we did use them.
We did.
but I don't think we paid them anything, did we?
Yep.
Yes.
Did we? Okay. Sorry.
They were part of our team. This, I don't personally have any, go a different direction, but I think it's a good opportunity, a good idea to just talk about it.
Yeah.
Would be good, new members.
Identifying your TIF areas.
Yeah, that's a big one right there. You know, David Glover was first year. I mean, I don't know.
We should.
Things and get their input on.
I think that when we have a full
Compliment.
at the table, we should have that on the agenda. Maybe a year-end review.
Then that helps us begin moving forward.
Maybe a separate item as a goals for 2019 review and goal 2020 goals.
David Glover back by
Into February.
Usually just spends a month.
Are there any reports? Staff with,
We had an exciting meeting this morning.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
We, Kelly DiBenedetto came to me, she's the new director of the Chamber of Commerce, to maybe restart our thinking process on the possibility of a hotel. And we're looking at, I think, some exciting ideas. I've learned a lot today about boutique hotels. I didn't know such a thing existed.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, but one of the things that Kelly had brought to my attention is a hotel in Muncie. And we think this will be a good fit if we can get all the pieces to work together. This hotel is associated with ARC, and which would be good for Sycamore Services. And it allows their clients to get life experience in that career, in the hospitality industry. And so they would be helping to run this facility, whether it be, guest services or whatever. We think it's a good fit for our community because it would be a smaller hotel that we think, again, we're gonna have to do a lot of studies, we get that. But it'll have some sustainability along with that project with Sycamore Services. And we looked at what we're looking at on these. Obviously, the fairground is becoming more and more booked every weekend. whether it be weddings, whatever the case may be. The hospital is expanded. We believe that they may see a need for it when family arrives for the birth of a child or a sick loved one. Found out today, I just had a chance to tell Kelly about this, the Indian Alliance, who we support very much here, they have kind of a situation where if there is not a hotel for a team to stay, then it limits the distance of the opponents they can have. And so they're willing to get a letter from the ABA and say, look, if you could do this, we could have more teams from farther reach to come and play and everything. And so we think we're going to do the study, but we know there's already a study in existence,
I remember that one.
and we're going to review it in the next couple of weeks. We're going to get with Sycamore Services, find out their interest, because they do bring a lot to the table, because there'll be some grant money and things like that that they'll be able to bring that we can't get. And then go to the next phase and pay for the more advanced study and see where it rolls at. It can't hurt to look. That was our meeting today. I thought it was a very good meeting, didn't you? I was very excited about it.
Remember Eldon Alec?
Yes.
He owned all the property at Walmart.
Yeah.
It was always his dream to build a hotel at the west end of that property.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Well,
Still a viable location.
Yes, it
It
is.
is.
Yeah. And we looked at some places today that we thought would be a good fit.
In that area, right?
Right in that area
Yeah.
to meet the hospital and the fairgrounds and everything,
Fairgrounds.
so,
Visibility.
yeah, good
Yeah.
visibility from the roadway for transient.
all the tourists at the landfill.
So I could foresee if the, I could foresee if the, if these things.
I would personally call it a high priority. Big thing.
And I've taken this position, this is really, she came and talked to me about it, I was like, let's run with it. Let's
Right.
run with it, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
So, we're excited. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, I met with some of the downtown merchants, that's why I was a little bit late getting here. They are interested in, and I don't think it's gonna add any additional parking, for this situation, but they would like me to reach out to the county, that parking lot on on Broadway. We have one parking lot's ours, one parking lot's the county's. They'd like me to reach out to the county and see if we could take that. They would deed that over to us. And the reason being is, it's not being maintained. There's no
true.
There's no lighting there. There's lighting on our side, no lighting on their side. It makes the merchants very uncomfortable when they park there. So I may reach out to the county in the next couple of weeks and say, look, no money, just if you want to deed it over to us, we'll take it over, that's fine. Like I said, I don't think it's going to add to our parking. I have had one of the downtown merchants submit a parking study, but basically what they believe would fix some of the parking issues, because as you may know, under the 6th District Court of Appeals, we can no longer chalk tires. It's the silliest thing in the world. It's an unreasonable search and seizure, what they're mandating, and I don't agree with it. But regardless, he's developed what he believes a template to try and fix this problem until we can figure out how to do parking enforcement. I will tell you all, because I know you have businesses downtown, I'll be proposing to the council on March the 7th at a retreat that we budgeted for it last year to implement this year a code enforcement officer. And not only will they do the parking stuff, but they'll all just do the grass cutting, the trash in the yards. Gary, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff that takes so much time. And they will be literally a jack of all trades from what we can. They may have more on their plate than Barry. We're not real sure yet. So, So those are the things we're looking at to try and help our parking situations downtown. So it's not falling on a blind eye, just so you know. We're trying to fix these things, and
when did the automobile become all the rage? It's been a problem since then.
Yes, sir.
We understand that.
yeah, ever since we got rid of the hitching post.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The other thing we've talked about is some downtown beautification. We're looking at where the tree grates are now, instead of putting trees in, which you don't get the right tree, it gets into your infrastructure, it gets into your wiring, it gets into your pipes. We're looking at tree boxes. And so it'll stunt the growth. The roots won't get down into, below the sidewalk. We can manage how high they get into, so they're not into the lights for the Christmas and things like that. It's the cost. I mean, obviously, it's always about the cost.
I have some personal experience with that. I mean, right outside of our building, there's one or two. Right outside our front door, there's one
That's who's thinking about making them for us.
on Jefferson Street.
Right,
They don't live. They never live. I mean, I
Right.
can't tell you how many trees
Right.
they've tried to get to
Oh.
grow in there. They just
They look
don't.
great when they're up and.
I thought you were talking
but-
about the boxes,
No,
the
No.
boxes that are in front of Danville Florist.
Oh,
You've seen those, that's what we're looking at.
okay.
I
Well,
see.
just the trees themselves,
Oh,
it's never really worked out, so maybe potentially look at an alternative type of vegetation. I don't know. Flowers, bush, I don't know, something.
We've
but
actually
the-
looked at what Will and I talked about were those stunted growth, the shrubbery, the pine, I can't, that's an ornamental pine. But the
Right.
problem we run into, it's got to meet our tree specifications for the town of Danville, so.
Tree committee.
Tree committee, that's right. All kinds of hoops and loops to jump
Yeah,
through, so.
I can just tell you that they've tried several different species of
Right.
trees right around my office, and none of
None
them
of
have
them,
lived.
And that's why the boxes, because we can actually, if we need to, we can pull them.
Here's the thing, I've given some thought to this, because as I'm walking, I'm like, why don't trees live, right?
Right.
'Cause I think in our situation along Marion Street, they don't get a lot of sunlight,
Right,
because
true.
the building for 8 months out of the year blocks the direct sunlight
Right.
getting on them, and I just
Right.
don't know how they can survive.
we'll figure out something. It'll look nice. So that's what we're doing, just to give you a heads up of what's going on.
Nothing to do with us, but those grates can be a bad trip hazard if
Absolutely.
you've not
Yeah.
walked around there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if you don't have a tree to warn people not to walk over them, yeah, I think that's a big thing, so we're looking at some options. I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Do our guests have anything for us today? You guys have anything cooking on your building in the downtown area, Darlene? Wild idea, people. Good. Very good. Okay. Anything else before we conclude business for today?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Favor?